Hello everyone, Grantfly here, back again with another pre-modern video. Today I'll be playing through a league, a kind of a tribute deck. This is the pre-modern version, or a pre-modern version of White Lightning, a deck that Kyle Rose used to win US Nationals in 1999. I'm going to bring up the list here. So to go over the original list from back in the day, 20 lands, all planes, a number of white weenie creatures, 4 disenchants, 6 anthem effects, and 4 copies of the card Waylay. Waylay was the reason this deck was called White Lightning, and it was due to a specific way the card worked that it no longer does. So I got Waylay pulled up here. 2 and a white instant, create 3/2/2 white knight creature tokens, exile them at the beginning of the next cleanup step. So the cleanup step is the last step in the turn, and it occurs even after the end step. But for this period in 1999, and I do not remember if this is how the card was originally worded or if it was ambiguous, but basically it exiled the tokens at the beginning of the end step. So what you could do was at your opponent's end step, that step would start, it would trigger, or it wouldn't trigger, you'd be, go through the beginning of their end step, and then after the beginning of the end step, there was, the middle of the end step or whatever, you could still do stuff. So after that, you would play Waylay, and the tokens would not get exiled until the next end step, which would be your end step. So you could untap with them and attack, since they would have started in play on your turn. They wouldn't be summoning sick. So it was kind of like a makeshift Ball Lightning, 6 power, 3/2/2 tokens that you could attack with. Kind of a delayed haste because you couldn't play it the turn you drew it, but you could still play it at their end step and be able to attack with them, which was not in line with the intention of the card. So they did change that, I think not long afterwards, but for this brief window, it worked this way. So that's a pretty powerful effect for white to have, and it's especially powerful if you have an anthem effect in play to make them into 3/3s instead of 2/2s. And it was very good. Kyle Rose won the tournament with it. There was another copy in the top 4, and it was called White Lightning, presumably because it kind of simulated a Ball Lightning effect. There's a cool video that came out recently by Tranquil Domain interviewing Kyle Rose about this. I'll link to that in the description, and that kind of inspired me to play a version of the deck in pre-modern. Now, since Waylay doesn't work how it used to work, it's not really good, so I'm not playing Waylay, and I'm trying to kind of make some substitutions that I think are a little bit better than some of the cards that are in the original version, but some of them I kept. So let's go through the card choices. And before I forget, if you're enjoying these videos, please like and subscribe to the channel. All right, so we'll start off with the 1-drop slot. 4 Mother Runes, that was in the original build. 4 Savannah Lions, which was not I'm assuming was not legal in that format, but it is legal in pre-modern. So since this deck's pretty aggressive, I think it makes sense to play 4 of those. 4 Soltari Foot Soldier, that was in the original build. 1/1 with Shadow, clearly not blowing anyone's mind by itself, but if you get some anthem effects, it can definitely get in for some damage, get them dead. 4 Swords Plowshares, which I believe was not legal in that format, but it's kind of a staple of white in pre-modern, so I think you got to play 4. 4 Disenchants, same as in the original. Might make more sense to play Seal of Cleansing or a mix, but I'm playing 4 Disenchant for nostalgia purposes. For Honor of the Pure. Now you might be wondering, this doesn't look like a pre-modern card. Why is this in your deck? Well, Wizards of the Coast, in its infinite wisdom, decided to ban Crusade for cultural insensitivity, which I don't really agree with. If you're wondering if it's really harmful to look at a picture of Crusade, here's a picture. I don't think you're any worse off for having seen that. It's a depiction of the Crusades, I guess, or something that could be interpreted as a depiction of the Crusades, the historical event. Not to get like too derailed here, but I don't think depicting a historical event is necessarily bad. And also, one of the cool things about the original sort of color identity in Magic was that white was the color of kind of like law and justice, but also of self-righteousness and kind of like zealousness, which I think Crusade is a pretty good example of some of those qualities. So it wasn't like, white was straightforwardly like the color of good. It was a little bit more nuanced than that back in the original days of color identities. But anyway, they've moved away from that and decided to ban that and some other cards. Rich Shea wrote a pretty good, I guess it's an article describing his objections to these bannings by Wizards, which I will link in the description. I think he described it pretty well, kind of why it's not that well thought out, the reasoning for doing this, at least for some of these cards. Anyway, the point is, Crusade is not on Magic Online, so the Community Premodern Series allows a substitute, and the closest substitute is Honor of the Pure. So you can play that. They ask that you play it for double white. It's not exactly the same as Crusade, but it's as close as you can get. So we're playing 4 of those. The deck, I think, really wouldn't work very well without 4 of a Crusade effect. And the other ones, like Shared Triumph, don't really work here because you don't have enough shared creature types. Glorious Anthem costs 3, so not quite as good. Anyway, moving on. 3 Silver Knights and 3 Soltari Priest. The original build used Longbow Archers, which is a 2/2 reach first strike creature, which is not bad, but I think having Pro Red is a little bit more relevant in the pre-modern metagame. And it also had Warrior Encore, which is a card that lets you redirect damage from it to another creature. Could be useful if you have like a Mother of Runes, give it protection from a color, and then block with Warrior Encore and redirect to the creature that has protection. But ultimately, I think just Pro Red attackers more relevant in pre-modern right now. And then the other card I added that wasn't in the original list instead of those cards is Whipcorder. This is just a really good card. Wasn't legal in 1999, wasn't printed, and same with Silver Knight. But this card is pretty important against large creatures in the format like Terravore and Phyrexian Dreadnought. And I think it's just a card you want to give yourself more of a chance in those matchups. In the 3-drop slot, since I'm not playing Waylay, I wanted something. I could have played Glorious Anthem. Instead, I'm playing Soltari Champion, a 2/2 shadow. Whenever it attacks other creatures you control, get +1/+1 until end of turn. So you can see how that sort of simulates the Anthem effect that Glorious Anthem would have given, but it's also an attacker in and of itself, and you can protect it with Mother of Runes. So I think it makes sense to play this card. You want to have a high creature count, 26 creatures, so this helps with that. And we're going to try it. It's a card I've been wanting to try out in a White Weenie strategy for a while, so we're going to try it here. And then finally, the original list had 2 Mastercore. Instead, we're playing 2 Battle Screech, which is 4-mana sorcery. Create 2 bird tokens with flying, 1/1s, tap 3 into white creatures to flash it back. This is really the only way to get tokens, only viable way, I guess I should say, in white. And I think you can afford to play 2 of them at 4 mana, but I didn't want to play more than that because 4 is kind of a lot. But obviously this would work well with Honor of the Pure / Crusade and Soltari Champion to go wide and attack with a bunch of creatures that are pumped. So that's the main deck, pretty straightforward. Sideboard, really quick, 2 Tormod's Crypts, Phyrexian Furnace, anti-graveyard cards, Sheltering Prayers, which I think is pretty good against the card Parallax Tide. And I guess that's mainly it. So I don't know if it's even worth it to have this. Maybe it should be like a Weathered Wayfarer or something, but we're going to try it. 2 Absolute Law, pretty straightforward against red decks. True Believer, which is good against, has some minor utility against stuff like Intuition, also against the Phyrexian Devourer combo deck. If you have it, you can't be targeted. Targeted discard as well. There's just a few decks where it could be somewhat useful to have a creature like this. Possibly should even be some in the main deck, but I got 2 in the board for now. 2 Cursed Totem against probably mainly elves, but I suppose there are other against like a survival deck that would probably be good too. So we'll bring it in as needed. Tsabo's Web against Wasteland, Port, Treetop Village, that kind of thing. Tide Control would be good there. 2 Aura of Silence against Enchantress, Replenish, and I don't know, whatever else it seems like it might be necessary for. And 2 Armageddons against control decks and probably against Replenish and Enchantress as well. The original deck had a bunch of Humilities in the board and some Wrath of Gods and Worship. I could see Worship being good, maybe, but I think with Absolute Law and stuff, it shouldn't be, and all these pro-reg creatures, you shouldn't really need it there, and all the other matchups where you might want it usually have a bunch of disenchants, so I don't think it's really what we want. Humility, I got to admit, I don't really understand that. Maybe there was something in the metagame at the time that made Humility better. And I guess you can bring it in against Phyrexian Dreadnought, but there's other answers that are a lot more efficient. So I won't play Humility. And then I had Wrath of God, and I don't really want to play Wrath in my 26 creature deck. So again, there's probably more going on there from the original deck that I'm not aware of, but this is the sideboard we're gonna roll with. So also, if you want an update on the progress of Moneyball Black, I played it in a tournament recently and got second, a real life tournament, and I wrote about it on my Magic blog, so I will link to that. And that's about it. So we'll try out White Lightning circa 2025, but simulating circa 1995 to 2003 in Premodern in a league. So we'll be back with round one. Round 1, here we go. Not your typical hand for a white weenie deck. Let's give it a shot. Okay, Pro Red should be good here. I'm just going to go ahead and fire this off right now since I have another one. Looks like a little bit of a non-standard, maybe more of a Ponza deck. Alright, I've been pillaged. Oh, it worked. Now I can't play my Soltari Champion. The good news about playing 20 plains as my only lands is Wasteland will not do anything against me. Wow, okay. They're going very hard on the land destruction plan. I think I'm going to kill that just because it blocks Savannah Lions. And I have this swords to spare. Okay, my lion is gone. My plains is gone. Not a bad draw. This is really Magic at its most basic, isn't it? You love to see it. So they might have Cursed Skull in their deck, which would be an answer to this, but otherwise I doubt they have much to deal with it. They didn't tap my land, so I'll go ahead and play a creature. Maybe they think they can block this, but I don't know. Nope. All right. No lions for me. The last land is gone. That's a good draw, because now I can put them dead next turn. All right, we actually have a lot to bring in here. 2 anti-land destruction cards in the form of Sheltering Prayers and Tsabo's Web. True Believer, I don't even know. All right, well, let's see. I probably need to board out Battle Screech just because it costs 4 mana against the land destruction deck. I'll take out 1 Disenchant at least because I didn't. It's hard to kind of make that happen when your lands are being killed. But it could still be good if they have Scroll or Sulfuric Vortex or something. I should probably just cut another Soltari Champion because it costs 3 mana. Do I want True Believer? Maybe it might be better than Whipcorder. I could see that. Make that change. Do I just want another 2-drop because of the land destruction? Probably not. Yeah, this is probably good. This matchup isn't exactly the most complex in the world. Play some creatures before they kill all your lands and If they have pro red, that's better. All right, well, I don't have my anti-land destruction cards, but I do have a pro-red creature and 2 lands, so that's got to be a keep. And a 1-drop to boot. So maybe if they want to deal with this, they won't mess with my lands and I can get Silver Knight into play. I mean, theoretically, they could port me and then like kill all my lands to keep me from getting to 2 mana if I never draw another land. But I mean, that's kind of a tall order. I think it's actually better to Swords this Fanatic instead of playing Savannah Lions, because I can like sneak in the Lions later. And yeah, I just think that's better. All right, they do have the port, so if I never draw another land, I could be in trouble. But this way, if I Swords this, I will at least buy some time. I did draw another land, that's good. I'll play the Savannah Lions. Now I can definitely play Silver Knight next turn, no matter what, which is pretty crucial. All right, they got Factory. They got my land. Ooh. What if I just gave everything pro-red? I mean, I suppose that is better. Okay. Is that actually better? Yeah, I guess it's better. And it's kind of not better because I don't have another creature in play, but now they can't kill my Savannah Lions, and then eventually I can play this, and then they can't kill either of them. So, yeah, I don't know. That's kind of tricky there, but I think it's better. We're going to tap the plains. Yep. Now I can take this opportunity if I draw land, yeah, to play Silver Knight. I cannot attack. I mean, I could attack. It would just trade, which I don't really want to do because I have the swords. So I'm just going to play Silver Knight and pass the turn for now. All right, that was a good draw. I'll get in, and then I'll Swords the Factory when they activate it. Or they didn't activate it. Okay, they must have sniffed out that that was coming. So now do I play a very awkward post-combat Crusade? I mean, it looks really weird, but yeah, I guess I will. I mean, it's more mana efficient to do it, so I'm going to do it. Hopefully they are aware that that's allowed. Seems like they're not questioning it. For those wondering, the league does allow this as a substitute for Crusade. I think I mentioned that in the intro, but Anarchy. Oh my god. All right. I got real bad. Yeah, that's a card. See if we can recover from that. That's a good start. So that was like a 4 for 1. Pretty good. Pretty solid. I do have a bunch of lands now. Pyrokinesis. Okay, sure. It's pretty good as well. I guess I might as well block, or else I'm just gonna take 1 anyway. Or they'll sack the Fanatic. Okay, I need like a Tsabo's whatchamacallit. Of course. Okay. I guess if I draw a creature, I can block that encampment for a while. Yeah, this is a problem. Looks like they went away from the land destruction a bit, which makes sense. I got by Anarchy. What can I do about it? Not really much. I mean, I could board an Armageddon, but I don't really think that's good. Maybe I need to take out Disenchant to have more, just more stuff to play post Anarchy. I'll try to play around it. Furnace wouldn't be horrible. And it's a card you can kind of sneak in there. Since they have Firebolt and Grim Lavamancer. I don't hate that. Do I want to put like a Battle Screech or a Champion? A Whipcorder, I suppose you can play as a morph. And then it doesn't get got by Anarchy. So maybe that's good. I'll take out the True Believer. I could just take out all the Disenchants. I mean, they might have Vortex, but I haven't seen it. And it's not like guaranteed to be good for them. It does still kill a Mishra's Factory though. Okay, let's try that. All right, this is really bad against Pyrokinesis, but if they don't have that, I think it's decent. I go into 4. Yikes. All right, so another question is, do I just like not play anything else to try and play around Anarchy? I don't know. Seems a little whack, but I'll play one more creature and save my Savannah Lions. Well, if I play something, it should probably be the Savannah Lions because it just attacks so much harder. I'll just play this thing. And I guess I won't play Furnace because I don't want to get it like pillaged without any ability to activate it. Kind of a weird draw I have here. This puts a reasonable amount of pressure on them. All right, cool. My land is pillaged. Now I can play Furnace. Factory, and that puts a stop to my Savannah Lions. I might need to just exile this Furnace to look for something. Yeah, I think I do. Well, maybe not. Because like I don't really want to play more stuff anyway in case they have Anarchy. They probably would have played it just there, but I feel like I don't have to play it. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. All right, no anarchy. Good to know. I guess now maybe we can dump our hand for next turn and just hope they don't draw anything for one more turn. I think I will cash in this furnace now. Sure. I'll take my free murdering of a Mog Fanatic, I guess. I guess I probably should have done this. I could have drawn a swords. Oops. Okay. Just puts them on a 3-turner. This does not work. All right, this will put them dead next turn if I attack with Savannah Lions, so I'm going to go ahead and do that and not play anything. Back for round number 2. Let's play first. That's a keep. So I guess if we get Battle Screech plus Soltari Champion, that counts as simulating a waylay. I mean, it's way more damage, but might be the closest thing since it's multiple creatures attacking out of one card. Let's see what they take here. I like this swamp, but I do not like this duress in terms of the art. Very annoying having to. I mean, I'm not annoyed at my opponent specifically, but it's just annoying. Wizards has created this issue by making Crusade not exist on Magic Online. Obviously, this is a very niche problem to have, but okay. A first world problem, I guess, is what I should be calling it. Call of the Herd. All right. Well, if they ever draw a Pernicious Deed, I'm in big trouble. This deck isn't really equipped to beat a card like that. Okay. That was a good draw. So far, if these had been waylays, they would have been a lot better. Well, if they worked like they used to work in 1999. The skeletal scrying. Wow. Going to 1. Digging for that deed. That's unfortunate. Okay. Doesn't seem like they have a Pernicious Deed with that play. Okay. All right. All my creatures are dead. And now I draw the land. Very nice. I don't think they had another removal spell. Well, I guess they might have wanted to use Funeral Charm on that. So yeah, maybe they do. All right, I guess they don't. Shadow, our Waylay substitute, dealt the last virtual damage. All right, what do I want here? Tsabo's Web seems good. Armageddon actually probably is good. I guess Aura as like an preemptive anti-deed. They didn't play deed, but I'm sure they have it. I think I need to keep an Honor of the Pures as plague insurance. So maybe I can just cut all the disenchants. Or some of them, since I'm bringing in Aura. I guess I don't want to cut all of them. Swords is not necessarily at its best here. True Believer can stop their discard. Maybe that's better than Whipcorder. Probably not, though. Again, Whipcorder you can play as a morph. I guess that's not really doing much here. Furnace against Call the Herd could be something. Shadow's definitely good. I need to cut one more card. I guess I could cut Screech because we've brought in some more expensive cards. Do I want this Furnace? I mean, they did have Scrying and Call of the Herd. I don't think Crypt is worth it, but I guess Furnace is okay. I cut a Silver Knight. Or, no, I'll cut a Whipcorder. This seems fine. One lander. I don't know. I don't think this is good enough to take the risk of it just being a one lander. I'm going to mulligan. Okay, this is keepable. Probably going to get my Honor of the Pure removed here. Oh wow! Snipe the turn one mother. Pretty nice. Mm-hmm. All right, we are losing the race to Call of the Herd. That's not horrible. Yeah, I mean, I don't love Armageddon in this matchup, but I feel like I need it because of Deed. But maybe that's wrong. Maybe I just don't want it at all. Joke's on you, my hand is bad. Huh. I mean, I guess at this point I would be winning the race, although I haven't done the math to see if I actually win it. But if they're doing that, I guess they have. Yeah, Pernicious Deed. Okay, well, guess it was effective enough that they took it with Cabal Therapy. Eight to 8. Chromatic Sphere. Okay. More lands. Guess I'll play one because I could go Tsabo's Web into a 4-drop, and I would want to play it. Tempting Worm. All right, I won't put my other lands into play. Another Worm. Yikes. Okay. So that's what they're up to. More lands. Okay. Guess I should have cut my first hand. Possibly. Whipcorder's good to have against Worm. Sword's probably a good thing to have if they're bringing all these creatures. Maybe like playing around Deed in this way with Aura of Silence is not the right approach. Although it is really bad for me. It seems unlikely I'll be able to snag it with a Disenchant, so maybe I'll take that out. And I guess I can cut like one something. Still kind of like Battle Screech. Like the fact that this has First Strike with a Crusade out makes me think it's better than True Believer, because the discard isn't, I don't know. I guess I could try playing one. I still need to cut a card. I guess I'll just cut a Foot Soldier, maybe. All right, I'll try that. Okay, another one-lander. I mean, I do only have 20 lands in my deck. I'm going to keep it. Maybe I can get him with this Tsabo's Web somehow. I guess I need to play a land first before I do that. They got me. If I get a land, that would be great. I can lock down this treetop village. Nope. Okay. Yep. Oh man, a land would still be insane right here. To play Tsabo's Web. Oh, they're gonna, right, okay. Not gonna let that happen, that makes sense. All right, I think we need to get a little aggressive here and just hope they don't have deed. So I'm gonna go ahead and proactively give this pro green. And yeah, I don't really think we can play around deed. I mean, can we? Not really. Well, I mean, they are at 11. I don't know. I don't really think so. I think I need to just try and get this game over with ASAP. Play his knight and leave up the tap on Whipcorder. Oops. I'm supposed to tap there. Okay, well, this probably means there's a deed incoming, but I will still take it, I guess. Oh, Tempting Worm. Interesting. Okay. Well, in that case, I guess I will put this into play. All right, they're just trying to race with creatures, which could work. can tap this, get in here, get in for 5, but then I take a lot. 3, 6, 9, 14. I wouldn't be dead. And they could just like, huh. Lose a, oh no, I wouldn't lose anything. 6, 9, 14. That's interesting. Putting them to 2, it does kind of hamper their colored sources. But it could also mean I'm dead in 2 attacks because I don't have, if they like kill the priest. I think it's worth doing though. I don't know. I'm going to try it. 3, 6, 9, 14. Yeah. This ended up being a close one here. All right, looks like we squeaked that one out. Let's play first. It's a 1-lander, but it has something to play on turn 2, and I'm going to play. I'm going to keep. This deck does only have 20 lands in it. Okay, our opponent doesn't have particularly fast start either. You really want to land here. Okay, well, we can play that at least. I don't know, should I be getting in with this Mother of Runes? Maybe I should, since I have 2 Savannah Lions. Does that make sense? I don't really know what they're doing over there. I think I will. Probably should have done it last turn if I was going to do this. Okay. Now we're going to have to start using Mother of Runes to get in. Okay, there's a land. That's good. What's the play here? I think we just want to add this shadow creature to the board. Yeah. I guess I don't need to use Mother of Runes right now because they just have 2 blockers anyway. I don't think they're blocking with their Birds of Paradise. Oh, are we getting countered here? Oh, okay. I should have played that pre-combat, I guess. That was a mistake. Or no, never mind. They didn't block. Doesn't matter. Okay. Okay. Glad that's not a Tradewind Rider. That would be much worse. Okay, what do we got? Stifle, Werebear, Windswept Heath, Island. Oh yeah, this is a Stifle Tide deck. I think I've played against this before. I guess. And they have white already. I guess I'll just give them the lands. Or the, I don't know whether to put the extra land with Stifle or the creature. Feels like they might need the creature more. Oh, the creature doesn't really do that much right now. I suppose it blocks my Savannah Lions. I guess I'll put the land here. I think they maybe need the creature more. Oh, guess not. Okay, our lands might be going away, so I think getting this Honor of the Pure into play could be good. Yep. Yeah, holding up Disenchant doesn't really work because they can just stifle the return trigger if they want. So I think getting the pump spell is better. I don't want to tap Mother of Runes because they could have Chain of Vapor, and just don't think that's a great idea. Okay, so I'm going to keep Mother of Runes untapped still. All right, I'm going to hold the land because I know they have Stifle, so this land's not, if it gets taken by the tide, it's not going to come back. Tradewind Rider, yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, this is going to be a problem here. Well, they're 3/2s, so I can still attack. And they have to block with something. So I'll do that. Or they don't have to block with something. I guess they can go to 3. Okay, they are blocking. Yeah. That's not good. Okay, that is good. I can at least disrupt something with swords. What's the play here? Gonna have to give up a land to do it, which kind of sucks, but do what you gotta do. Actually, okay. That's gonna put them to 7. I think I just proactively swords the Tradewind Rider. Then I have the choice of either keeping my... We'll see what they do here. If they bounce itself, I can get in with the Savannah Lions. Although then next turn they still can block. Targeting itself. Right, okay. Fine. They don't gain the life, which is good, and now I can get in with Savannah Lions, give it pro green. If they have chain also here, it's pretty bad, but I don't think I can afford to play around that right now. Actually, I should not do this, because if they chain... Oh, never mind, I can't sack a land. I don't have a land. Okay. All right, so now they either have... They can't pay for Deranged Hermit and replay Tradewind Rider, so that gives me a little bit more time. Yeah, they can't afford to do that. Not that that matters that much, but it's something at least. Now I could maybe draw another Swords or a Mother of Runes. But if I don't do that, it's going to be bad. Oh, they're factor fictioning. That's weird. They don't really need to do that, but okay. Doesn't seem like any of these cards really do what they need. Yeah, all right. I think if they just replayed Tradewind, I would... Because they have a blue and a green creature, so I don't think I can actually win there, but I won't say no. Okay, so Cursed Totem, definitely good against them. Sheltering Prayer is actually good against Tide. That's kind of like why I have it. Because they cannot target my lands as long as I have 3 or fewer. And if I have 4 and they get rid of 1, they like put multiple triggers on the stack. Once the 4th one is removed and you get down to 3, they will gain Shroud and the ability will fizzle or be countered upon resolution, whatever you want to call it. So I definitely want those. I don't know about Aura of Silence. I don't think they have a ton of artifacts and enchantments besides the Tide. Silver Knight, probably not at its best here. True Believer. Does fact or fiction target me? It says an opponent, so it does not target. So for that reason, I guess I don't really need it. Disenchant. Yeah, it's not actually that good against Tide, the way they're doing it. This is probably fine. I still have 24 creatures and the 2 Screech. Seems like plenty. Geddon, not exactly great with all their mana creatures. I mean, if I get Cursed Totem also, then it's good, but seems a little ambitious. I think we will not play one of those. All right, this hand is solid. It's also possible they have Survival of the Fittest. I don't think they do though, because I think I've played against them and I didn't see it. Okay, so now the age-old question. I don't think I can afford to Swords the Birds here because they have like Tradewind and walls and stuff. They just have too many things, so I'm not gonna do that. Ranger, that's really annoying. Although, oh no, that doesn't work. Yeah, that is really annoying. Okay, let's play my shadow guy and see what they do here. If they pay 3 for the Echo, that's not the worst thing ever. I don't know why they tapped. I guess they accidentally tapped too many. Yep. Another Swords. Okay. Well, that would be good, but I think I got to get this champion down. This is the Waylay equivalent, and they don't have mana to counter it right now, unless they play Daze. Or Force Spike, I guess. Get in for 1. Alright, the mana is flowing. Probably going to see a Fact or Fiction here, I guess. Most likely. Ooh, Battle Screech. So I might lose all my lands, but Battle Screech would be very nice to resolve. So I'm going to do that. Or I'm going to try, anyway. If they counter here, they can't Fact or Fiction. Because even if they tied me, I can just draw 1 land and I can play Swords. Okay, I'm going to flash this back right away. Tapping the Savannah Lions because it just gets blocked. If they have, I don't know, if they have like Upheaval or something, then They got me. All right, we've built the waylay, but we have to wait a turn for it to actually work. There is certainly a lot they could do to disrupt it. Okay, they're going to chain the Granger. Okay, I thought they were going to bounce my champion or something. They're playing like Wrath of God in this deck with the 1/1s. Living Wish. This is a spicy brew, that's for sure. Shard Phoenix. Oh my god. Wow. I got. Okay, it doesn't kill flyers though. I mean, it's still pretty bad for me, but at least I got these bird tokens. All right, so the white lightning is not going to happen. Sorry to say. Treetop. Sure. Yeah, this Disenchant's looking bad. I'll probably take it out for anything else. My decision not to Swords of Birds also looks bad. But Battle Screech is looking good at least. We got Treetop. Maybe I'll bring in a Tsabo's Web. Oh my. Oh my. I mean, I don't see how I'm not supposed to do that. It's a bird bonanza. Round 4. Let's see what we got. Another 1-lander. This seems a little worse. If I draw 1 land, it's not too bad. Yeah, all right, let's try it. I think since we only have 20 lands, we gotta just keep some hands like this. Because this deck kind of needs all its threats. But this could go badly. Getting oathed. No? Okay. All right, it's going badly. Okay, I'm gonna Swords that so that we can play a 2-drop if we draw it. Nope. Hmm. That was the turn we really needed a land. I don't know if we can come back now. All right, well, we'll try. I think I need to play this Whipcorder so I can start tapping down that Terravor. Hmm. All right. Just need about 1 billion lands off the top and we can be in this. I actually don't even have a creature that can block the Meddling Mage. It's a problem. Is there any way we can race? Maybe with Battle Screech next turn? Probably not. So that Terravor can be an 11/11. We did draw the land. Let me think here. So Battle Screech, flashback, 2 birds, they're 2/2s. No, yeah, that's not even close to enough. I guess we just have to try and draw another land. Or maybe I can race somehow with Soltari Champion. It is awkward because, like, if this was a Crusade, it would be way worse for me. But what are you going to do? That's what the card does on Moto. Alright, so if I Honor of the Pure 4, 8, 11, plus 2 more. Yeah, I mean, that's enough. Or I could just Battle Screech. That might play around Naturalize. Seems like that's not what they have, but I guess they might. Actually, wait. 3, 6, 8. 9, 10. Yeah, never mind. This is way more than lethal anyway. Okay. My bad. Did not count that properly. All right, we managed to peel out of it with a bunch of lands. Ooh, close one. Okay, we want the Tsabo's Web. I think. Wait, did we? We didn't actually. Yeah, we saw Wasteland. It's fine. We don't actually really have very much to bring in here. I guess we could bring in a Crypt. Is there anything bad? Disenchant. I didn't see any Disenchant targets that seem that appealing. Let's board out some of these for like a Crypt, I guess. Or maybe Furnace is better because you can draw. I mean, let's just board out the Disenchant. We'll leave one in. Yeah, try that. This is a good spot to land this web. I guess I want to get this down before they Armageddon, which they might do. I was playing red, so they could have like Pyroclasm or something. So maybe I shouldn't flash this back. I didn't think about the red. But if I don't do it now, it is pretty hard to do later. So I guess I'll just do it. Okay. Okay, I think I might hold these foot soldiers in the land. I'll I'll offer this trade with TerraGeddon and Gemstone Mine. Cataclysm. Okay. I think I should keep the flyer. Okay, we got a 7/7 TerraGeddon. The race is on. Okay, yeah, they can't attack because I have lethal on the swing back. Yeah, I will play that. Okay. Huh, it's weird they didn't attack then because they could have. Well, I guess if I drew exactly Honored, no, because they could Swords of the Lion. I don't know. It's a tricky spot. Tricky spot. Okay. That's not bad. Yeah, it's going to be hard for them to do this, especially now that I drew Furnace. So I'll go ahead and force the chump here. Because I think the Weather Wafer actually might do something for them. And I will play Furnace, Furnace them, and pass the turn. I guess, yeah, maybe I should have just exiled a land so I could draw. But anyway, got there. So in that last round, I guess you could argue I should try to play Honor of the Pure as if it's a Crusade. But in that case, I think I would have, which I should have done, but I think in that case I just play Soltari Priest instead, which I actually probably should have done anyway, looking back at it. That would have been better for me, ultimately, I think. But anyway, we will be on the play in round 5 here. No 1-drop, but we got some other stuff and we're on the play, so I'm going to keep. Alright, looks like probably a control deck. That's not ideal for us. So we'll just have to try and kill them, which was already the goal. what's the play here? Maybe we just try and resolve these because they're not as good. But then if we resolve Honor, we can still attack with them into Factory. I don't hate that. Let's start off with this guy. All right, then let's attack. And let's do this. All right, hope we don't just get wrathed right out the industry here. Okay, let's try for the honors to make these viable. Maybe I should have tried to resolve this last turn. If they let this resolve and Disenchanted, I'll lose a creature, which will be bad. Yeah, it is a big difference against specifically Decree of Justice. Personally, I think it's worth it, obviously, because I like playing decks that have Crusade. But I can see how if you're playing Decree of Justice, you wouldn't like it. But I mean, what are you going to do? These things happen. Maybe they have the Disenchant anyway. No, maybe not. Okay. All right, well, I think they would have wrathed if they had one, so I'm going to play this. I just probably found it off that, or the land for it or something. play here? I think they would have Wrath probably if they had it. I said that before though. They probably will be Factor Fictioning end of turn, at which point I'm not probably going to be able to resolve this, so I think I am supposed to just play it. They usually don't play that many Wrath of Gods. Like 2. This pretty much puts them dead next turn unless they can figure out some way to deal with it. And since this is basically impossible to flashback, I will just go ahead and do it now. Sure. Oh my God, they have the Wrath. Okay, well. I feel like the odds were in my favor there, but it did not work out. I guess perhaps it was not necessary to do, well, they would have played Standstill. All right. All right, they found the Wrath. We can move on. Sometimes they find it. What do we have? Armageddon, Tsabo's Web. Those are good. Disenchant is not, again, not doing that much. I guess Swords is doing even less. Can bring in just bring in some more creatures, I suppose. Can leave in 1 or 2 of these for factory. Yeah, this seems all right. Is this really gonna get there? Probably not. I guess I gotta go to 5. Okay. I think we just need to keep our creatures. Hmm. All right. I'm going to try and resolve the champion now, I think, since I have another turn to disenchant this powder keg. And they've used 2 counters already. I don't think I have the luxury of playing around Wrath of God at this point. I unmorphed the Whipcorder in case I drew an Anthem effect. All right, let's see what we can do here. Decree, okay. That's pretty good because now we can disenchant this powder keg with impunity. All right, they're at 5. I don't think playing the Lions adds that much, so I'm not going to. Yeah, I'm just gonna kill this and pass the turn. All right, there it is. Any order. Can try and play a Lions, a True Believer, and see where that takes us. All right, I will attempt to Swords this before blocks and see how that goes. Fact or fiction, sure. Swords disenchant. Just got to split those, I think. Give them the fetch land with the extra cards so they take 1 more damage. All right, so they got Coastal Tower, Swords to Plowshares. Yeah, that goes. Put them to 1 here. In theory. Oh, wow. Managed to get there on a mold of 5. Very fortunate sequence of draws for us. Yeah, the disenchant was good. The swords was also good. We needed each of them exactly when we had it. Sometimes you got to be lucky. We did mold a 5, so that part wasn't very lucky. Maybe we want 1 more swords and 1 more disenchant. I don't love the swords, but disenchant could be okay. Over 1 creature. I don't know, I feel like the extra creature is probably just better than a disenchant most of the time. I think we're just going to run it back. As is. This is a fine hand. Little creature light, which isn't ideal, but At least we resolved one of them. We can kill that, so that's cool. I guess I'll try to not play into Wrath super hard here. At a certain point I kind of have to, but I don't want to be left with no creatures if they do Wrath. Although this opens me up to getting swords, so yeah, there's not really a perfect way to play around it. Yep. Humility. Okay. That's not great, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. I guess I'll just play a 3/3 to try and play around Wrath. Okay, I might try for Armageddon here, since I have a land to follow up. Looks like it's going to resolve, I think. All right. Pretty good draw, I must admit. Envelop, yeah, that's a good one. All right, so we ended up going 5-1 in that league. The last match I messed up with OBS and didn't have the screen recording, so no visuals, so I decided not to include it. But I lost against Mario Vidal, who's another content creator. Check out his channel and you'll probably see him playing against me, so you can see it from that perspective. But it wasn't that interesting. I just got raced pretty easily in both games by him going off with Sapphire Medallion, Helm of Awakening, and or Helm, and drawing cards and brain freezing me. brain freezing me out. I didn't draw a Disenchant in game 1. I drew a Aura of Silence in game 2, but it wasn't nearly enough. He had another cost reduction effect, and I died. So my thoughts on the deck, it was actually pretty good. I wasn't expecting it to actually do this well. Granted, against the blue-white player, probably would have lost if this was a Crusade instead of Honor of the Pure, which is awkward, but that is just how it goes when they ban a card for no good reason and you have to play a substitute. If you were worried about that matchup, you could play Glorious Anthem. And you know, there's some circumstances where Glorious Anthem would just be better in general. Like, I've had situations in the past where they have Engineered Plague and I can play Whipcorder face down and Glorious Anthem will still pump it and the Plague won't do anything. But it's kind of a corner case scenario. But anyway, if you had to play some Glorious Anthems, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, although playing 4 instead of 4 of these would be sort of awkward. But then again, you do usually want to wait to play this Anthem until you have creatures on the board. So maybe it would be okay. Anyway, the other cards that really impressed me were Soltari Champion, which was a card I thought about playing, hadn't tried it very much. It's actually really good. 3 mana is a lot, but the effect is pretty powerful, and it has Shadow. And that was kind of the other theme of the deck, was that the really good part about it was all the shadow creatures and the flyers, which kind of have the original Shadow. This Soltari Foot Soldier was actually pretty impressive too, not so much as a 1/1, but just, you know, being unblockable basically. And if you have an Anthem, that's a pretty legit amount of damage. So I could see incorporating more of this card in other White Weenie decks if I play those in the future. Whipcorder was most of the time just was a 2/2, but it did crucially tap down a Terravore in one of the matches, and that was necessary to win. So yeah, White Lightning, it still plays in Premodern decently well. The sideboard, you know, was okay. We did bring in all of the cards, I think. Well, we brought in all the cards at some point. So I guess that's a sign that it's not horrible. Or maybe we didn't bring in Crypt. I can't remember. Anyway, it might be able to be improved a bit, but I think it's okay. But yeah, so that's the deck. Hopefully that was a cool throwback to a simpler time. And maybe I'll put out a video with the playoff matches, not sure, but I'm going to end this video here to keep it at a reasonable length and to get it out at a reasonable time. So hope you enjoyed. I'll be back with some more interesting decks next time. See you then.